Before we get into today's episode, this one is brought to you by Flowdesk, the email marketing platform I use to run my own newsletter at Lion Creatives. If you've been putting off starting an email list or you're on a platform that just isn't working for you, Flowdesk is worth a look. The templates are beautiful, it's easy to use, and it's built for small business owners. Get 25% off your first year at flowdesk.com/c/Lion Creatives, but I'll make sure to drop the link in the show notes.
Referrals don't work when you have no community.
Yeah.
Referrals work when nobody knows who you are. And referrals don't work when they dry up. And I always said, I do not want our masonry business to be based on referrals. Anybody that refers us, amazing, but I want organic reach. And in year one, 90, I think like almost 100% genuinely was like through Facebook groups and manual marketing. And I was year two, 96 organic Google.
Welcome to This Might Get Creative, a Behind the Brand podcast by Lion Creatives. I'm Svenja Lion, and in each episode, I sit down with local business owners and entrepreneurs to share their stories, how they got started, what keeps them going, and what makes their business stand out. My goal? To help more amazing businesses be seen, supported, and celebrated. So grab your coffee, because this might just get creative. Welcome back to This Might Get Creative, a Behind the Brand podcast for business owners and entrepreneurs who want to pull back the curtain on branding, strategy, and what it really takes to build something that lasts. Today's guest is someone who didn't just build one business, she built two in two different countries with two kids under 2 and no safety net. And somehow she made it work. Faith Morris is an operations strategist and founder who helps overextended entrepreneurs get out of the swirl, build infrastructure that works, and feel excited about their business again. She's the brain behind offers like Ops Diagnostic and the 6-week sprint. And she hit 6 figures in year one of her online business with what she calls a low-key marketing plan. We're going to find out exactly what that means today. Faith, I'm very glad you're here.
Me too. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yes, of course. We had, when was it? Last year when we connected the first time through Entreprenista?
Yes, we met in person in New Jersey.
Oh yes. Oh yeah, I remember. That was a cool meeting. Yeah, Angela organized that, right?
Yes.
That
was awesome. It's always good to connect with people that you know online, or those people have brought new people. Yeah, loved it.
Yeah, no, me too. Yeah, but now let's talk about you. So how did it all get started? I mean, you said you moved across the country, and tell us your backstory.
Yeah, so I moved across the world back home in 2023. So June of 2023, I'd been living overseas at the time for 8 years with my husband, and I had 2 under 2 at the time. We moved back to the States in 2023. And I went through the journey of looking for a job in the traditional job market. And the long story short is I got destroyed. I had spent 8 years in aged care and disability operations in Australia. And so I was really looking for something similar, adjacent, chief of staff, operation type roles. But I got destroyed. And while that was happening, my husband, he's a stonemason by trade. And during that time realized, okay, actually, it makes most sense for him to start his own business. So I'll just help a little bit with the admin of that business, and I'll do some freelance work while I kind of figure out what I'm going to do. And in 2024, I was doing a little bit of freelance work similar to what I'm doing now, but again, just kind of from, a word of mouth of somebody. I had no community here. We had nobody except family. So it was really like starting from complete scratch. And so I was doing a little bit of freelance work and just building our masonry business in the background. And when I decided to stop traditional job hunting, I said, okay, I'm going to go all in on building the back end of our stonemasonry business. And that's the only plan I had in 2024. And so what happened after that was explosive. We turned our masonry business profitable within 6 months. Again, you have to remember, we have no community. We don't know anybody locally. So it's starting from complete scratch. And so I knew the puzzle pieces. I was learning, I was connecting with other people, the puzzle pieces that we needed to put in place for our local business to grow long term. And so in 2024, I was doing everything. Social media, customer success, invoices, estimates, bookkeeping. I did everything but physically touch stone. And seeing the success of that business, I kind of hit my rock bottom at the end of the year. We were moving out of my parents. I had 2 toddlers. I was exhausted. I wasn't getting paid what I wanted to be out of my freelance work. And I knew it wasn't sustainable. I knew I was very good at what I did. I didn't really know how to translate it, but I knew the only thing missing was branding myself and making a website. And at that point, and anybody who's ever hit rock bottom, you know, you have nothing to lose. And that's genuinely where I was at. I think everybody who isn't an entrepreneur looks at other people that are, it's, oh, I could never do that. Put my face on the camera, I'll have a website, because it is a lot of self-promotion. And I just did not care. Like, it could not be worse than where I was at, and I had to try. Mm-hmm. And so I launched my operations business at the beginning of 2025, and it just took off. And it completely changed my life. It was the best thing I ever did. And, you know, we're going into year 3 of our masonry business, and the growth that has happened because I had built this foundational infrastructure on the back end is unbelievable. Like, from year 1 to year 2, we grew 65% in our gross profit margin. We hired an employee over this summer. Now we have a permanent employee. I hired a virtual assistant. We went from being booked 2 weeks ahead to 3 months ahead. We were able to go overseas to Australia to live for the winter, and we had 3 jobs booked for when we came back. So I knew in the short term it was a lot of work, but it's really cool to now be sitting here like 2.5 years later and be like, wow, I know that so many people are impatient for the long term, but the long term is so, so worth it. And that's really the basis of what my personal brand and operations business is.
Yeah, so let's back it up a little bit, because I think there's a lot of interesting stuff here. For example, that you said that you built the masonry business together with your husband, and yes. But then it was so much work, and then you build your own business on top of that. So most people would say, hey, no, I'll just stick to one. I just, this is a lot of work, and the kids and everything, let me just focus on one thing. But no, you did actually then focus on 2 things, right?
Yes.
On your online business?
I think for me, I know people think very short term, and they get very overwhelmed in the short term. And there's a big, I would say, message across about hustle culture, mm-hmm. and not subscribing to hustle culture. And my hot take is there are points when you're building a business and you're starting, there is absolutely hustle. No doubt about it. And if you don't want to hustle, you won't last. And I stand by that, right? And if I'm looking at my entire picture of context of my life, I have a 4 and 5-year-old at the time, 2 and 3. They were in full-time daycare, full-time. Mm-hmm. That's a village, right? Like, that's like, I'm not a stay-at-home mom. There's no part-time, but I was probably working 50 hours ish. I mean, I was working so much across parenting, the business, but you have to do that, right? When you're starting. And I'm not saying everyone has to work 60, 70 hours or whatever, but I'm saying collectively between work and parenting, like, I was burnt out. I hit my rock bottom, but I understood that there's a lot of hustle that comes with starting out when nobody knows who you are. And I think that's the issue, especially I see a lot of entrepreneurs that come from corporate and start their own businesses where you think you're starting with a certain leverage and you're not. The online space is so different. So yes, visibility, marketing is a bit more manual. You have all these kind of manual things that happen because you don't have the capital to hire. Like, in our first year, I wasn't going to hire a social media manager. I wasn't going to hire a bookkeeper. No, we were doing a lot of DIY stuff. But I had a plan. I knew what needed to get in place so we could bring those people in, right? You have to prove yourself. Like, from what we charged in year 1 to what we charge now is significantly different. Yeah, we earned it. We have the Google reviews. We have all these. So it's that credibility, but there is a hustle that comes with that. And I think people forget that you have to start somewhere, but when you start, and starting isn't just like 6 months, guys. Like, starting is like year 1, year 2. I'm in technically year 2 of my operations business. I am still in such learning, experimentation mode. You don't know everything. And that mindset is what carried me to be like, oh, I can do this. Because the year that I started my business, I went from operating probably 98% in the masonry business to 30.
Yeah.
That is but because of the foundation that I put into place.
Yeah. So going back to the masonry business, because you said that it scaled within the first 6 months, correct?
Yes.
So that's not, I mean, that's
I honestly scale returns profitable.
Okay.
Profitable.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So most local or small, and I'm talking like brick and mortar in-service businesses, like it's not uncommon to not turn profit for a year or two.
Yeah.
Right. The fact that we did it within 6 months, and it wasn't a crazy amount of profit, but it was like, whoa.
So
okay,
what did you do? Yeah. What did you do?
Yeah.
So that's the interesting
Well,
part.
first thing I decided, we are going to change the game of construction. I am not going to subscribe to what people think about the trade industry. Now, you also, just again for context, in Australia, where my husband is from, he trained to be a stonemason for 15 years. Trades are really respected in Australia. Very respected. Majority of our friends didn't go to college. Everyone's in a trade, okay? Here, if you're in trade, you are looked down upon. If that's, oh, you got into trade because you didn't go to college, you're on the same level as what people think a garbage man's, value is. And I was very much like, watch us. Because the reason, similar in the online space where people get burned and they don't want to invest, I would say it's even more so in the construction and trade industry here, where people are paying to get things fixed and done, and people are taking their money. They're not coming back to do the work. There's not a lack of integrity. And so very quickly, feedback from people and things that people were saying, people don't show up on time, and it was all this, and honestly, all came down to client experience.
Yeah.
And now I have a background, yes, in operations and a lot of people culture and management, but I also spent all my years traveling abroad, in college, in customer service, in hospitality. And anybody that knows me knows I'm a psycho for client experience. And I said, okay, we are going to outperform. We are going to be successful because our client experience is going to be not normal for what people expect. And that's what we're going to talk about it. So I set certain rules for my husband and I. So one, and it's so crazy when you listen to these rules, they're so simple, but I truly believe they're what put us on the map for a local business. One, we show up on time. When we say we have an estimate, we show up on time. We send reminders. We are communicating with people in that way, but we show up on time. Two, all estimates are given within 48 hours. So we are sending estimates within 48 hours. That is it. Three, after those estimates are sent, we follow up with people. Hey, any questions for Brett? Do you want to book in? That is it. And then three, I manually, our first year, asked for every single Google review. And when people didn't do it, I reminded them and got them.
Yes.
That's it.
And those steps are and you would think that those steps everybody would think about those steps. You would, because they are so easy to, basically do. It's not hard to follow up on a Google review. But no, a lot of people don't do it.
Totally.
So,
and a lot of people don't have a me, right? So when I said, Brett, we are a dream team because we have each other. And it takes time to figure out. At first, he was getting messages to his phone. Then I was using my personal number. Then I was saying I'm Brett's assistant. It was a bit of trial and error until we figure out, oh, no. He doesn't touch the money. He doesn't touch the communication outside of being on the job. Any issue, that all comes to me. And a lot of construction and trade, they're solo. They don't see the need to invest in a VA or a phones person, and they live paycheck to paycheck. I have no desire to do that. I have no desire to live month to month. For me, our biggest case study was, in our second year, I said, okay, I'm going to get 3 jobs booked for the spring so that when we go to Australia and we come back, we're going to have work. I want to do it in October, and I did it by August.
Yeah.
Right? Possible, but you have to have the infrastructure of support to be able to make moves like that so you can have freedom in your life and your business.
And I think that's very important. That's a very important part, that you have the structure in place to make all these things work. And like you said, you're learning by these little steps, these little mistakes, or things that maybe don't work necessarily the way you want them to work, and you learn and you adjust. And I think that that's what you have to do. So now, what is the difference between running the physical business to your online business? What's the difference?
Chalk and cheese. I always tell people, and I think what's really cool, let me just start there, is that I think it's such an awesome benefit that I have both worlds. Because my operations experience and business allows me to work and have worked with in-person businesses and online businesses, but they are different worlds. Different worlds of people and different worlds of expertise and different rules in terms of marketing to a degree. So there's a few key differences that I've noticed personally. So I'll just share some of the things I've noticed in the people and the industry, and certain things I can say because I am a local small business. People in the online space are not scared to spend money. They know that they need to spend money to grow, to learn, to gain new skills, to get access to great coaches and mentors and service providers. They understand that. Small business, localized, is terrified. They're so terrified to spend money, they would rather DIY for so long, do things manually for so long before spending a penny. I know so many local businesses that still haven't invested in a website, right? I'm sure you experience this all the time.
Oh yeah.
So that for me, from a interaction, is like huge. Second thing I would also say, major difference, is online service providers, online entrepreneurs that have online businesses understand and invest money in marketing. And their marketing is very different than local businesses. So local businesses, again, when it comes to spending money, social media, email marketing, all that stuff is like bottom of the list. And a lot of people will just say, we're on referrals. We get referrals. We don't need to do that. And that is so great, but they don't realize referrals are a cherry on top, right? People will always say, and when we started our masonry business, it was the same, like, oh, you'll just get a lot of referrals. Referrals don't work when you have no community. Referrals work when nobody knows who you are. And referrals don't work when they dry up. And I always said, I do not want our masonry business to be based on referrals. Anybody that refers us, amazing, but I want organic reach. And in year one, 90, I think like almost 100% genuinely was like through Facebook groups and manual marketing. And I was year two, 96 organic Google. This year, 98% so far.
Nice.
Yeah, that's so great. And it doesn't mean that people are not referring. No, but I don't care. It's all extra.
Yes.
So the in-person, it's so, they don't do a lot of marketing for themselves, even from a personal brand perspective.
So the difference here is, and I'm very interested in that part, because that's also what I do. The local businesses, you have to have the SEO set up, you have to have the background.
Yes.
Everything has to be set so that you can be organically found. So, so now switching to your online business, I'm interested in your thoughts about that part.
Yes. And I'm so glad you asked, because that honestly is a place I'm in discovery, right? I understood for our masonry business, the foundation we started to put about SEO, our blog, all of that is very, very successful for our localized business. Now, when it comes to my business, and I think people start to do stuff sometimes in the online space too quick. So that's also with the online space. People move quickly and prematurely, right? If we look at my business, I'm in technically year two. There's still a lot of things that I'm experimenting, seeing. I just did a rebrand at the end of last year. I see a lot of people jump into crazy investment of website and SEO when they don't even have their offers down pat at all. So it's like, what are you trying to show up for? You don't even know who you are.
Yeah.
And if I'm being completely honest, I told myself, I'm going to give myself 2 full years. I want to make sure every offer that I'm doing, I have at least like 5 to 6 people minimally going through them. I want to make sure that my authority and brand authority, I know exactly what I'm rooted in. So when it is time to invest in SEO, I'm really excited for my website to have a blog probably next year starting. But I don't want to start that until I am sure and rooted in what I actually want to show up. I see people doing it maturely in the online space. And look, it's constantly changing. AI versus ChatGPT versus all the things that are happening in websites. And I'm sure you see it all the time. And I think different industries have different, like, again, I've seen people, because again, with Google, right, you have to actually have a physical address. And you have an online service address, it's just harder to show up. Like, there's different rules in that kind of way. So I don't have that all figured out for myself yet, but I am aware of it 100%. And it's something, for me, it's a 2027, because I wanted to give myself at least 2 years in the online space to kind of figure it out.
I like that. So, and that comes back to what you said, I think in our pre-recording call or in the form that you filled out, that you only had like a minimal marketing plan. And I think that kind of falls into that category. But what I like about that part is, I looked at your website, by the way, and I'm getting to this a little bit later, because I think, I'm not going to say it, I'm going to say it later. But I like your website.
Thank you.
But I like what you said about first finding out who you are and what your real mission and your vision is and who you would like to attract before, investing, or not really invest, because you do need to invest in branding and all that before, like, what you want, where you want to go, and what your business is supposed to look like. But I like that you pay attention to that, and that you really want to know who you are and who you would like to attract, and what's the voice and what's the imagery and all that. So tell us a little bit about the minimal marketing plan, because there's different opinions about that. Some say you have to have a total marketing plan set, and others say minimal is enough. So what's your take?
I will preface by saying there is no right or wrong. There's just different, right? But every choice you make has a consequence. That's all. When I started my business, I said, okay, this is my plan. I'm going to choose 2 platforms to be very consistent on for 3 months. I'm just going to give it 3 months, and I'm going to join one community and see what happens. And I wanted to join this community to really be in the room with people that were smarter than me. It was nothing about client acquisition at the time. I was like, I just actually want to learn and hang out with people that are way smarter, who are way ahead of me. So I said, okay, I'm going to go on Threads. And I had like a little post, I was going to post one time about myself on Threads a day, 5 days a week. And I was going to post on LinkedIn 3 times a week and 20 minutes of engagement. That was it. And I knew I didn't want to do content, but I know that you need an Instagram just as a platform. And I love stories. So I said, when I feel like it, I will do Instagram stories. That was it. And I said, I'm going to give it 3 months. And I truly believe the following things. 1, you cannot show up on more than 2 platforms well. And if you see people on multiple platforms well, or you think it's because they probably have a ghostwriter. But stretch yourself beyond that without any support is unrealistic. And then 2 is you don't have to do content if you don't want to. Right? You don't have to. But you have to give everything minimally 3 months. I see this happen all the time where people pivot, or I call it visibility hop. They're like, oh, Instagram's not working. Oh, Threads is down. I'm going to go to LinkedIn because high paying clients are there. It's so dumb. It is so stupid. Stop visibility hopping. You haven't even given anything enough of time or strategy to even see if it works. So that is all I did. And I entered my yes era, where I said yes to the coffee chat, yes to, like, on Threads, yes to this person. And I just talked to a lot of people. That was it. That was it.
Yeah, networking.
Yeah, and at the time it was like quantity over quality for sure. But I only did it on those 2 platforms. And I wanted to be really authentic. And again, anyone who starts out, it feels cringe. Everything feels cringe. But again, you have nothing to lose. And actually, your haters don't pay your bills. So I literally don't care. I never want to overextend myself.
There's another interesting part about that. And I just had a solo episode for the podcast, and where I talk about that. Your voice, your brand voice, the way you show up on those various platforms. And because AI has something to do with that as well. I don't want to give away too much from that solo episode, but what I talked about was that everything just sounds the same. Everybody is on every single platform, like you said, and I certainly fell into that trap too. I post, I mean, everybody who listens to the podcast knows I hate social media, but you have to be on it, like you said. But I fell into the trap where, okay, I need to post on all these platforms. I need to do all this. Oh my God, what am I going to post? And also at the beginning is like, who is even interested in what I'm posting? And that is this feeling cringe,
Totally. And you get self-conscious.
And what I like about you is that, like you said, you don't care. You show up. You show up exactly the way you are. And that is your voice. That is your brand voice. And that attracts exactly the people that you want to work with. Because the people that do not, I'm sure, not everybody can like everyone. So people who don't like that approach, those are not your people. The people that are your clients like who you are, and they want to see that on those platforms, the real you.
And those who don't, there's the mute button, there's the block button. I always say to people, do whatever you want. Like block, mute, I do it left and right.
Yeah.
And I will say, right, we live in a world where obviously, you feel like we have to be on social media. You actually don't have to be, but you have to understand the consequences of not. I have a very good colleague, a very strong referral partner of mine, hates social media, has no desire to participate in it at all. She has no mark on any kind of social media, but her marketing strategy is through communities. She's in multiple communities. She has an entire marketing plan that's based on micro communities. Great. And guess what? She has a website. She is one of the most talented, gifted, incredible people in my world that I send to my clients. She doesn't have social media, but if you want, she has LinkedIn. She go to her website, you get on a call with her. Like, you don't have to have it, but she knows the consequences of not doing content. I know even just by doing stories, there's a consequence to not doing reels. Like right now, trial reels, and I don't know if you've seen this, trial reels are like the hottest thing on Instagram right now.
What are they called? What are they called?
Trial reels. It's like you post a reel, but it doesn't go to your following. It's basically so you can test content, and it shows it to a lot of new people who've never seen you before, and it's meant to like increase. It's incredible, right?
How do you do that? How do I know?
You need to follow Liv Rollings. She's an amazing expert in trial reels. Go follow her. She has like a whole membership about it. But it's one of those things where you see things online and you're like, oh, I should try it. Even though authentically that is not me. Like I even got the urge of like, oh my God, maybe I should try it. And then I was like, no, Faith, you don't have time. You do not have time to run two businesses, do content, and you actually don't care about content.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're a business owner and you've ever wondered why your brand isn't pulling its weight, I built something for you. It's called the Brand Audit Scorecard, and it's completely free. 10 questions, takes about 5 minutes, and it'll show you exactly where your brand is strong and where it's losing you clients. You can grab it at lioncreatives.com/brand audit scorecard, and the link is in the show notes. All right, let's get back to it. All this stuff, I have to try this trial reels. I have to just to check out what it is, just so that I know, But what works for me actually is the podcast, because on the podcast, I can be whoever I am. Like, this is me. This is what you get. This is my personality. And on social, and maybe it's because English is not my first language, but it always feels like it's so hard to write the stupid caption and to do all those. And, it's like, oh my God. And then you go, of course, everyone uses AI to get ideas for content, but it's always
the same.
I don't know.
I love Instagram for people's stories. I do stories, but I don't even scroll like that anymore. I just do stories. But for me, there are also small touch points in relationships that compound over time. But yeah. I honestly, I could never. I always tell people, if you ever see me all of a sudden doing content, it's because I've hired somebody. Like somebody's running all of it. It is not me. It will never be me.
Same. Yeah. Secret is out. No, I did hire someone to do my socials. But, okay. Now, going deeper into your personal brand. Love your website. Love your website. And what I love about it is that, like I said before, it really shows who you are. So you manage that, we're not talking every week. So, but the person that I got to know last year and the couple of times we had interactions, this is exactly who I see when I look at your website. It's not too serious. It's fun. It's witty. It's, it's not corporate. It's someone that I would like to work with. Right?
Oh, yeah, thank you. I worked really, God, if you saw my very first website, I was in the messy middle for a very long time last year, waiting for this rebrand and making sure it was happening at the right time. I actually wrote every single piece of copy on that website.
That's awesome.
I worked with an amazing messaging coach and learned to write in my own voice. That was a massive growth for me last year, and having the confidence to be confident in writing my own copy. Everybody is so quick to hire copywriters. Same, me too. And her name is Emily Sanders. She just completely rewired my brain in no faith, like, you are the best person to write your own copy. And I'm going to teach you how, from sales pages to website copy. And when I launched that rebrand at the beginning of December, I cried. I couldn't believe it. But I was just so proud of, yes, like, this is who I am. And truly, if somebody goes there and bounces off because it's not a fit, I'm like, thank God I did the right thing, because this is the greatest embodiment of who I am, who I'm serving right now. And I worked really hard on it. And it's been amazing. I've gotten some amazing clients. And I hope that everybody gets to a point where they have a website that they feel fully embodies them, because it makes selling so much easier. It makes, sending your website to send to somebody so much more exciting. And I was in that messy middle for a while where I was like, oh God, this old website isn't a reflection of me. I'm waiting and da-da-da-da. But I also see people rebrand way too quickly and spend a lot of unnecessary money, which I'm sure you see all the time, of trying to navigate when is the right time. How much do I need to rebrand? Is it logo, website, all the things, but actually your copy, your messaging, websites are multifaceted.
And that's actually what I work a lot with. And I always tell my clients that it's going to cost more if let's just put it this way. You want to start a business, you start the business. Oh, I need a logo. You go on ChatGPT, you create a logo, and then you do all of this. You build clients, but then there's the ceiling. You can't go any further. And then you have to rebrand. And then some people just go, I don't know, on Fiverr, and then they get a new logo and get a new messaging, and it doesn't really work. So in the end, they spend so much more money and time in creating all of this, and then they realize they need to hire someone who actually knows what they're doing. So I don't think that was the case for you, because you said you were in the messy middle, but I think then once you rebranded, you really knew what you wanted.
Absolutely. I mean, I was ready. I launched my business in January.
Yeah.
My offers had been revamped. And let me tell you, you don't need to be in the perfect spot to sell. I hit beyond mid six figures to without having this amazing website. I still sold, okay? But I was annoyed. That's the difference. I was very annoyed. We're all impatient, especially the perfectionists, the type A's. But there's also this preconceived notion that websites are $12 million. And it's but you have to be very realistic about what you actually need versus what you want. I can tell you the amount of times I stayed up at night thinking about a name for my business. And then I forgot who I taught, just your name. And I was like, oh, okay. And then when I was like, okay, I want to rebrand. Okay, again, I need a business name because everyone, and I was like, no, I don't. And also, I don't need all these assets. I actually just want to I want, my requirements when I started was I just want a new logo, and I want somebody to that person to help me figure out what I should be wearing at the photo shoot for every photos. Kid you not.
Yeah.
I wanted that vibe to match what I told my photographer. That is all I needed. And my rebrand total, and again, some people also, again, they're like, oh, you have to wait 12 weeks for this. And you can split things up. I know people that get logo from somebody, a website from another, full packages from others. You have to do what works within your budget, within your time. Like for me, I was not waiting 3 months. And I found the most amazing woman who did like a brand in a day for the logo portion. I hired somebody else for my website. I did my own copy, right? Very realistic. People aren't realistic, right? And I think that becomes an issue. And I think a lot of people don't write their own copy. So copywriting takes a very long time if you're writing copy with with whoever you're doing it with too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But I think that you knew what you wanted and you invested into your own brand.
Absolutely.
And I think that's also an important part that also people also need to realize, that it's not, even though you had a very good experience because it was fast, it was, exactly what you wanted. But sometimes to build the strategy and to really find the voice and to really put everything together, you need to someone who knows what they're doing.
100%. And I think it's knowing your own expertise. Like I'm a natural driver and I'm a natural organizer. So I piecemealed those pieces together and I was a project manager. No, people need somebody who can bring it all together.
Yeah.
Because there is a lot of people who try to piecemeal it and it doesn't work because they don't have the skill. That's my skill. That's what I do for a job, right? But yes, I mean, it is so important to have the right person help you help you understand this isn't a one-sided thing. There's like multiple portions of a rebrand.
Yeah.
And people just think of it as aesthetic.
No, and that's exactly not
like that's the problem.
No. You have to bring yourself and again the brand voice into the whole thing so that everything that you touch matches. Your social matches with your personality, with your website. Your LinkedIn can't be this, and then your website is this. That doesn't work. So it has to all match.
Let me tell you, once you do a rebrand, and if you are writing your own copy, or when you start to go to other people's website, you're like, oh my God, they either not even just like DIY'd it, but maybe they paid somebody, but you could tell it's all ChatGPT or poor copyright. Like I can just tell like this.
Yeah.
And then I've gone on websites, talked to somebody online, and then I've gotten on calls. And I feel like I'm talking to a completely different person.
Yeah. Yeah.
The highest compliment that you just gave me, and I have received from other people, is you are what you reflect on your website. And I want that to be the case. It should be the case.
Yeah. Every business.
And I don't know who I'm talking to.
Yeah. No, every business should have the same standard. Every should. But of course, it's not easy for everyone to do. And so now, but we haven't really talked about what you really offer in your business. So in your online business. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yes. So there's three main ways that people work with me. And the mission of what I do is to really help overwhelmed founders get excited about their business again. I am stepping in. I'm an ops strategist for overwhelmed founders whose every process, decision, everything lives in their head. I come in and I help create infrastructure for their business that helps their bandwidth, their efficiency, both for their personal and their professional life. And so the three main ways that people work with me are done with you or done for you offers. So I have a 6-week sprint. My 6-week sprint is a done with you, where it's strategy and implementation. I am stepping into your business as a fractional projects manager, and we are knocking out all the half to-dos, half done projects that you didn't finish. I am in there, but I'm doing a lot of the heavy lifting. But it's done with you because I'm very, very passionate about, I don't have equity in your business. If you don't move, I don't move. So I don't do that sprint with people that move slow. It's for my type A's who don't have enough time in the day. Let's go. I need someone to help me put all these pieces together, get all these things done. We meet weekly. You have me in Slack Monday to Friday for 6 weeks. Then I have my ops diagnostic, which is my signature offer. And that is for entrepreneurs with at least one team member in growth mode. So before they're getting ready to scale, but before they do that, they need to look at the entirety of their infrastructure of their business, from team members to projects to gaps. And so I interview the founder, I interview every single core team member, and then a week later they get a done for you strategy, a master to-do list, red flags to clean up, very, very robust. And then they have me for 60 days in contained Slack to keep the momentum going.
Okay.
And then I have before you bring them on, which is for entrepreneurs that are getting ready to hire. So it's a mini audit. You get a job description. I help figure out who you actually need to hire, and similar to an audit, your gaps, your red flags to clean up before you hire, resources and templates so you can do it well. And then you have me for 30 days in contained Slack. And then I have my group program, which is running twice a year. The next one is in September, called the Efficiency Circle.
And that's the one that is in person, or is that also online?
No, that's online. Yeah, and that's for entrepreneurs that want to learn how to figure out who needs to be in and around their business to grow both financially and professionally.
I think it's very helpful, especially when you said about the job descriptions. That part is because you, as a founder and the person who's always doing everything, you have it all in your head and you say, oh, I need help here and I need help here and I need help here. But as soon as you have to put it on paper, what you actually need and what person actually can help you,
Correct.
That is so hard. So hard.
It is. And I think majority of the time what happens is an overwhelmed founder goes out with their friends to lunch and they just vent about all the things that are overwhelmed. And their friend goes, oh my God, you need to hire a VA. You're ready for a VA. No. A VA is not everybody's first hire, and you don't even know what kind of VA. You don't even know if that's what you need. A VA is not always a solution. And that is like, again, my hot take on that is just because you're overwhelmed doesn't mean you need a VA. You don't even know what you freaking need. And it's really funny. I'm actually I just delivered one yesterday, and she's a systems guru. And again, our conversations in our intake form and the interview and then delivering, it was almost kind of back and forth of like, actually, what do you need? And the question that really transformed her thinking was, and I said to her, we'll call her Sally. I said, Sally, you wake up in 3 months and you're like, oh my gosh, I am just so happy that like X, Y, and Z is done. What category does that fall into? And she knew immediately it was this role. Great. That's it. But her industry would have said, nope, you need to hire this person. And that's not always the case.
Yeah.
Everything is very dependent on your dream, your feeling, your capacity. And that's why a lot of the work I do is what's happening in your personal life. Because your personal life affects your capacity professionally, especially when it comes to hiring.
That's where I was, because I, like I said, I hate social media. That is the first thing that I need to let go, because that is something that drains my energy. It's not filling my bucket. It's just annoying. So, but still, now ask me who else I would need, and I would be all over the place. I would be like, oh my God, yes, I need this, and I need this, and I need this. One person couldn't even. And
we underestimate how powerful it is to have an unbiased, fresh eyes on your business.
Yeah.
Like it is so, I need it. We all need it. And I talk about this online a lot where, if everyone just admitted and could admit without any kind of judgment that they needed babysitting, they would grow in crazy ways. Like we all need to be babysat in different ways. We all need to be held accountable in different ways in different seasons. If you think it's a waste of money to pay somebody to come in with fresh eyes who has that expertise of like, okay, actually, what do I need? And, for me, it's not about who you need. It's like people don't even know how to onboard well. People don't know how to onboard well, retain well. That's why we see in the online space, people go left and right, hiring contractors is insane. But because actually no one's taught them how to hire and retain well. And what it means to lead. The minute you bring somebody on, you are leading.
Yes.
And that's the difference.
Yeah, because you're giving something away, at least in my space, you're giving something away that is so uniquely you. And you need to teach those people that are working for you. You need to teach them how you want it. And you need to lead them into the right direction, because if you don't, it's not going to work. And then you're just going to be frustrated, and then you're just going to be like, just stop.
Exactly.
No, and it's a very hard part. And I have trouble with it, letting go. Like, because it's not going to be the way I would do it, but maybe it's in a better way, but still you have to go.
Yeah. And I think people think, the minute you hire, it's like, delegate, delegate, delegate. If you don't want to delegate, it's the same as marketing. You don't have to do anything, but everything comes at a cost, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was working with a client, and she has somebody that is almost like a mini her that works for her and does certain things. And part of her offers is a voice note gets attached to something. Mm-hmm. She could easily, and I challenged her a few times, of why can't you train this girl to do the voice notes? And she wrestled with it for a while. Over a course of a few weeks, she was in my ops diagnostic. And finally, she made the call. She said, Faith, I'm not letting go of the voice notes. I want to do them. People come to them for that. And I said, great, no problem.
Yeah.
And that's okay. And she said, I am happy to hold on to the tasks that are associated with creating more work for myself because I've chosen, but that's something I really value. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to train anybody right now in that. Even though this girl would be phenomenal. Yeah. She could easily, and I respect it. I said, no problem. You don't have to delegate that. Yeah. And I think that's a little bit about how the way that I work. And I am going to safely, when you hire me, you agree that I can safely challenge you. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to do it alongside you, and I'm going to question your decisions. I want you to question me back because it's all part of thinking outside of the box. Yeah. And sometimes when you're just in your own brain, your friends are not experts. Your friends are your peers. Mm-hmm. Your friends should not be your be end hall of hub of what should I do? Yeah. Right? And people fall into that trap all the time.
Oh, in branding too. You create logos and you create exactly their vision, and then they send it to their friends, and their friends are like, ugh.
This will make me laugh. My interior designer, she posted an Instagram today, and she was pouring milk in a black coffee, and then as the milk went in, it said, please do not invite your friends to our presentation meetings. I was laughing so hard. Yeah. Oh my gosh, you're without a doubt. It's color schemes. Yeah. Branding, you guys would have such a hard time.
Yeah.
I could never.
Yeah, no, I always tell my clients, I always say, if you need feedback, find someone, that in your business space.
Yes.
Don't use your spouse or your friends or your neighbors. Don't do that, because then you are going to get 50 million different opinions, and they all have their own opinions. And then it's not you anymore. Then it's your friends and neighbors, but not you. Yeah. Anyways, we are running out of time, and I have one important question to ask you.
Yeah.
And what's something that no one knows about you that you can share online?
Something that I can share online among.
Yeah. Well, you filled it out on the form. I don't know if you remember what you said.
Okay. I'm going to share this. I've never shared this publicly online.
Okay.
And someone listening might be like, I can't hire her because of this. This is a make or break for people.
Oh, no.
Are you ready?
Yes.
I don't know what kind of person you are, but we will determine after this.
Okay.
All right. And I also want you to know, if you're listening to this and you're going to be like, I can't hire, please hire me. I promise I will. Okay. I don't like dogs.
What? Oh, no. We need to stop this podcast.
Okay, listen. I don't love dogs. I'm not somebody who is sees a dog down the street and is like, oh my God, I want to pet it. If I pet a dog, I have to go wash my hands.
What?
I'm like,
oh my God.
Yes. Yes. There is only one dog in the entire world that I love. And that is my brother-in-law's dog in Australia. And it's because, I'll tell you why. One, he's a fully outside dog.
Yeah.
So there's nothing in the house. It doesn't smell of dog. And then second, he's half dingo. So he doesn't bark. Yes. And then three, he's fully trained. So I love a thing do tricks. Give me your paw.
Yeah.
Love that. And he sits. Yeah. Okay. My daughters, they're a little bit here. They're also a little bit nervy around dogs. And we were just in Australia. Now they obviously knew him when they were babies, when we lived there. And they fell right back in love with him. He's like a human.
Yeah.
That's the only, I know, I can't, it's like, you'll be very careful how you say that online. People will be like, what do we mean?
Well, you see, I have
Well,
a portrait of my Feline.
yeah. Yeah, I like other. I just don't love them. That's all. I just don't love. It's just people like babies.
Yeah.
Some just like don't like babies,
Yeah.
and I'm like, that's totally fine. Babies look like aliens, you know. That's okay.
Yeah.
Love. And that's all. And people that don't love babies, it's the same with dogs, where you're like you're assuming everybody wants to say like, oh, cute, your baby's so cute. Oh, look cute, and you're a bad person if you don't tell them that their baby's really cute. Same with dogs.
Oh my God. Yes. Yes. So I really now I have to rethink. Because I love dog. I could not be without a dog. I could not, like, if I'm that person, I see a dog, I tune everything out and I'm like, oh my God, dog.
But do you want to know something funny? Okay. I met this girl on LinkedIn. Okay. Mm-hmm. And she and her friend acquired a local doggy daycare in Brooklyn, right? Like they acquired it. Yeah. And she's kind of doing something similar. Like, you know, she's bringing the millennial Gen Z. Yeah. I'm obsessed with her. I'm obsessed with the business. Yeah. Anything for the business I want to help with. But like, I'm so invested in her story. Like she put a Substack probably 2 days ago. And it was about how they were like transforming the outside of this doggy daycare. And they have these like lounge chairs for dogs. And how they like have these add-on services like FaceTime for dogs. And I'm so invested. Yeah. I'm so invested. And I'll do anything for this dog business.
Yeah. How funny. That's so funny. Anyways, we are out of time officially now. I could talk about dogs all the time, but let's see how people can get in contact with you if they need your help.
Yes. Well, my website will be in the show notes, but faithemorris.com. Mm-hmm. And I am really, really active on LinkedIn and Threads, and you will see me around Instagram stories rambling away. I love a voice memo in the DMs. Oh, nice. Feel free to DM me. Yeah. And if you're an entreprenista, I'm in that community as well.
Awesome. Wonderful. So thank you again for being here, for being on the show. That was lots of fun. And yes. If this episode resonated with you, with anyone listening, please share it with someone who could use Faith's services. Subscribe, leave a review, and we'll see you next time on This Might Get Creative. Bye. Thanks for listening to This Might Get Creative, a Behind the Brand podcast by Lying Creatives. If you enjoyed this episode, follow the show and share it with someone who loves discovering local businesses and creative entrepreneurs. You can learn more about my work at lyingcreatives.com or find me on Instagram, lying.creatives, and LinkedIn at Lying Creatives. Until next time, keep showing up, keep creating, and keep getting seen.